You might assume that this is the beginning of the story. But if you do, you would be incorrect. In fact, the story began around 15,000 years ago, during the last ice age, when a lobe from the great ice sheet inched down and plugged the narrow valley of the Clark Fork River, creating an enormous lake that covered a big chunk of northwestern Montana with 500 cubic miles of icy black water. Well, guess what happened then? Look down at your drink, my friend, because if ice wants to do anything, it wants to float. And when that ice dam cracked and lurched and yielded to its true nature, the entirety of that massive reservoir, as big as a pair of the Great Lakes, shot through that gorge with the velocity of all the rivers of all the world all together, times 10, emptying itself in a few days, a 1,000-foot deep mass moving at 60 miles an hour, ripping up whole forests and small mountains, scouring this piece of creation right down to the bedrock. My God, it must have been awesome. For the purpose of this essay, though, we join the story at the end. At the end, something is building up. And something is weakening. Some other floodgate is about to burst. Anyone with an unsold soul can see it coming, but few will admit it. I don't know what it is, don't know, but I can't shake this feeling that, by examining the deluge of the past, I might glean some insight into understanding, perhaps even surviving, the next great flood. Well, already something's gone wrong. I stop at this rest stop to jot something in my notebook when this bit of darkness overcomes me. Here she comes now. You see, if I wrote the script, what would happen here is that I'd say hi and we'd talk, and she'd seem genuinely interested in my theories about the flood and the horrible flood to come, and she'd eventually reveal this quirky thing she has about older men. Well, naturally, I'm intrigued, except for the nagging actuality that none of this is actually happening, so instead, I prop my camera up in the back seat and digitally stalk her like an electronically savvy Kevin Coe. So, if you thought, as I first did, that the final image of this scene is of her picking hay out of her hair and standing in the barn door as I turn and wave and walk back to my car, well, you would be incorrect. Sadly, this is the final image. It's that fat guy coming out of the bathroom, waddling off into the distance, farting and firing off snot rockets. God, this is so lame. Well, obviously, I've strayed from the true path. I was in a tizzy over the girl and should have went north on Highway 21 out of Wilbur, then quick off to the northeast on 174, but instead stayed on number 2 and ended up in Coulee City, which means I'll have to go north on 155 and then backtrack. It was the woman whom thou gavest to be with me. She gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Here, 150 miles west of the ice dam, a whole different dynamic. Some scientists believe that another lobe of the ice sheet blocked the flow of the Columbia River, diverting and carving this grand coulee. That, along with the catastrophic floods, ripped through these layers of ancient lava flows, the violent currents gouging huge potholes in solid rock and leaving scab-like cataract islands everywhere, the prominent ones named by lonely travelers. Check it out, Steamboat Rock. Cool. Grand Coulee Dam. Entire films are done on this amazing structure, but whenever I see it, I'm haunted by something my grandfather told me when I was very young. When they were building the dam and pouring one of the thousands of tons of cement, a worker slipped and fell in, disappeared, got swallowed up with a gulp, and the other workers just kept pouring. What else could they do? And I look at this place now, and I know he's in there, somewhere, all contorted like a Chinese acrobat, preserved like a bug in pitch. I have a vision of me in some cheap hotel room directly below the dam, pacing the floor all night and not able to sleep because of all that water, all that bound up energy, all that flood, all waiting to happen, all backed up, and nothing between me and it but a few tons of concrete and a crunched up cement worker who looks like Woody Guthrie. So I drive back to Cooley City, to the A La Cozy Motel. These places have always intrigued me. Nearly every small town has one, each with some goofy name, inexpensive, convenient. But what stories has each room to tell? Ever think about that? Who slept in that bed a half-century ago, or worse, last night? What crimes were conceived therein? What crimes committed? But above all that, what about tomorrow? Or worse, tonight? What horrors does the future bring? Well, nothing too horrible, I think. A few misdemeanors maybe, but mostly just me, alone in my room, pursuing truth, Argus-eyed, facing the end of times with curiosity and outrage, eating an entire damn bag of barbecue potato chips, and drinking a half a damn bottle of whiskey right out of the bottle, just like Slash. It doesn't take
long before the effects of isolation begin to set in.
You don't have to be adrift at sea or
wandering the desert often.
A motel room
on an ancient
floodplain will suffice. All of those images, everything seen or imagined, imprinted and filed away, most never to be seen again except in dreams or delusions, but in there, somewhere, in every person. Most people accept this, I think. But there are others who say that every image ever experienced by every human being who has ever lived is etched into the collective unconsciousness of all humanity. Is this true? And if so, my question is this: can one hack into this ephemeral hard drive? Can I see the flood folder, please? Can I see if a Northwest Noah donated a file? Can I sift through the clutter and remotely witness, by way of some psychic alchemy, by some brain chemical witchcraft, a Columbia Plateau Gilgamesh rise above the torrents?
Take one. Why am I here? What did I think I would find? Cut. Take two. What am I doing? Why am I here? What do I think that... Cut. Take three. Why am I here? What am I looking for? What do I...
Am I looking for something that doesn't exist? Is there some philosopher's stone, some knowledge I can pick?
Some knowledge I can
Pick like a plum and swallow and endow myself with mystical powers. Powers to save my sorry ass from the coming storm. Is someone coming to save us? Should we cry out for help?
Someone's tried to fill the tumble dryer with porridge.
What the fuck?
Let her in a tumble dryer.
When the flood comes, will I be raptured away? Will I be pulled up into the clouds like some hillbilly sucked up into a spaceship? Is that our ark?
Is someone coming for us? Help! Help! Is someone coming?
Fell back and smashed his head. Someone put the laundry in the tumble dryer. Now he spins round and round.
Get on the web, dude, it's everywhere. Crop circles, ancient ruins found beneath the sea, Roswell, alien abductions, it's all connected. Chemtrails, bird flu, skull and bones, the Bilderberger Group, CIA mind control, microwave weapons, the Illuminati, Bohemian Grove Satan worship, the World Trade Center cover-up, mad cow, implanted microchips, Freemasons, the gulags being built by FEMA and Halliburton, the Fourth Reich, the New World Order, and now,
pleased to bring you
our featured presentation.
Weather gone wacko, mega volcanoes, earthquakes in diverse places, super tsunamis, nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, then the false prophet, the plague of frogs, the pale horseman, the abomination of desolation, the mark on your hand or your forehead, the fire in the blood, and the sixes of the blood, and the fire of the blood, and just stop thinking, just stop thinking.
Nothing, okay? Just nothing. I'll make a conscious effort to think of nothing. Or not think of nothing. No, not think. Thinking of nothing would be to be thinking of something, which is not nothing. No, just nothing. Just black. Or would it be white? Moot point, really, if there was truly nothing, and nothing would matter, and there would be no one around to care. But I'm around, and I care, and that makes it something, and that screws up everything.
I went to the river, I couldn't get across.
Okay. Oh, good morning.
Rode him over, give him a Coca-Cola, lemon soda, sauce of ice cream, 6 soap and water, for to keep it clean. Up she jumped, down she fell, her mouth flew open like a Martian shell. Now, ride her over, give her Coca-Cola, lemon soda,
Awesome.
sauce of ice cream,
Awesome.
take soap and water, for to keep it clean.
Look. Wait, I see something, look. Whoa, wait, look, whoa. Beautiful. But I have this uneasy feeling of seeing one of God's dumb creatures wandering so dangerously close to the highway. It's a... Jeez. asshole! No. He's up there. He just ran up there. He's up there somewhere. Amazing. So, were there any witnesses to the Great Flood? Most scholars think not, though they seem to base their conclusion on the fact that no human bones were found among the camel bones and mammoth tusks found where such things would naturally wash up. Still, a legend of the Spokane tribe gives me hope. It speaks of an enormous lake of many islands and many villages. One day the earth began to rumble. The lake rose and beat against the shore. The ground shook for 2 days, and when it stopped, the lake began to disappear, leaving the river. Well, I suggest that this is an eyewitness account, passed down through the generations. Still, one must consider the problems associated with memory. Take this, for instance. I mean, this. What's happening right now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Getting some good pictures?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful light.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's what happened. But you know, after I retell the story a few times, maybe make some minor adjustments for continuity.
I promise you, zombie.
Raw human flesh.
Raw human flesh.
Beautiful light.
I'm at the Lake Lenore Caves in the lower Grand Coulee. Love the sign. Any literature you can find about these caves inevitably says that they were used by wandering prehistoric people for temporary shelter and food storage. From what I've found, there's little physical evidence for this belief other than some writers essentially saying, well, if I was a wandering prehistoric person, that's what I'd do. And you know, perhaps some of these smaller caves were of practical use, but considering the symbolism and importance of caves in mythology and in dreams, it seems to me unlikely that the larger ones were used for mere pantries or the aboriginal equivalent of the a la cozy motel. Anyway, that's what I'm here to investigate. You should pay close attention to a cave in your dreams. It may reference the womb or a personal relationship with your higher being. An evil entity in a cave is in fact an aspect of yourself which you fear. Finding treasure in a cave is finding your true self. What will I find? Of course, there are perils, which should be obvious. Because mostly, a cave symbolizes the unconscious mind. Your spelunking is a descent into the unknown regions of your soul. How deep will you go? And what is the likelihood of an unfettered return trip? What might cling to our pant legs as we climb from the pit? What mystery, what magic within that black hole?
What?
Okay, first impressions. How old is this and what created this? How long did it take to form? What's inside? How far back does it go? Has anyone died here? Can I leave my stuff here? Would I be safe here in a meteor strike, or if an atomic bomb destroyed Ellensburg? How old is this trail? Open up your minds now. This could be hard to take. Imagine this. Move the flat of your open palm through water. You see those vortexes, those tiny whirlpools that form behind it? Now imagine one of those swirlings 100,000 times larger, a whirlpool the size of a skyscraper that formed as an unimaginable mass of water moved over and through this coulee. Now imagine the tip of the vortex digging at the side of this hill like an enormous dentist drill, plucking out these basalt columns one by one. That's probably how this was formed. Now, as incredible as that may seem, now imagine this. It is probable that this immense cavity was formed in just a few days, as if God reached down from his heavenly throne, pointed his light-year-long finger and said, "Here, a cave. Here, a portal into your soul." So I sit, and I wait for the spirits to speak. And I wait. And I wait. And I wait. Nothing. I hear nothing. No insightful flashes of otherworldly knowledge, even though I hang out for like 10 or 15 minutes. Nothing. I hear nothing. Nada. Zip. Still, I'm not one to hold a grudge, especially at some indeterminable spirit with whose patience and power I'm unfamiliar. So I offer a toast, a sacrifice really, considering it was the last of my whiskey. And, of course, I take a shot myself, presuming that spirits don't like to drink alone. And when I do, only then do I finally hear the words, loud and clear, echoing out from the ages, the wisdom of the elders. From the Spirit's mouth to my ear do I hear those eternal words. "Get your white ass off my land, bitch!" Well, I'm rational enough to realize that the voice was merely a projection from my own imagination. Still, I experience its echoes all throughout my tenuous grasp of reality. After that, it seems that everywhere I go, someone is saying I shouldn't be there. Everywhere there is someone who wants me to think like they do, wants me to be a lesser version of themselves. Put on your blinders, Citizen Steve. Look straight ahead. Ask no questions. Trust us. I read every one of these rules and regulations and find nothing banning walking through this nearby culvert while audibly summing up life's great questions. So I did. But at the other end, no spiritual prize, no pot of gold.
Where are we going?
I'm so distraught that I'm about to say the hell with it all and head back to Spokane, declare the mission a failure. But then I encounter this bridge. come to a bridge in a dream, and you're confronting a powerful symbol of transition, possibly symbolizing a critical juncture in your life. How will you cross? With difficulty? With ease? Will you cross at all? Evidently, I cross. I find myself out of the water-torn scablands, at the edge of where the floodwaters would have flowed, whereupon another great symbol looms on the horizon. Steptoe Butte. A 400-million-year-old mountain sticking its nose up above the surrounding lava flows that covered this end of the state, but still couldn't quite cover the top of the butte. Naturally, I ascend. Why didn't I think of it before? Not just a symbol, the butte was a vehicle of transformation to the native people of the area, who would send their young boys to the top to spend the night and confront their animal spirit, their voice in the cave, and perhaps return a man. Was someone sitting atop this peak when the levee broke? Did they think it was a vision when the earth shook and they could see the waves crashing, the wildlife fleeing? And if you think, as I certainly did, that here, at the climax of my journey, that some great mystery would be revealed, that the primordial memories of that frightened Indian boy would have bubbled up from the depths of humanity's collective soul, and I would have been allowed to witness the watery cataclysm through his ancient aboriginal eyes, well, you would be incorrect. Oh, I can see it all right. I can certainly imagine it, but it's only that, only my imaginings, the violent torrents smashing in the distance, the water rising up the side of the butte.
But soon the water transforms, becomes to me not water at all, but a metaphor of all the trappings and drudgery of what I'd left below, what I was running from, work and television, broken relationships, sloth, late rent and bills and litter and sirens and lust. I see it all bobbing just below me, all the flotsam and jetsam of reality. And I react with an act of total irrationality. I get into the car and I fucking punch it, dude. I put the pedal to the metal. I imagine myself in designer sunglasses and a Gucci cravat, the hot girl from the rest stop sitting next to me and looking fine, and I dive, head first, back into the madness, back into the exhaust and the billboards and the cops and the crackheads, the greed, sickness, war, sorrow, insanity, and so, in the end, there were no wondrous revelations, no great problems solved, no wise voices echoing from the darkness. But if you thought I've brought you this far only to leave you without some symbol of cleansing or renewal, without some sign of fertility or growth, no matter how small or insignificant, if you thought I brought you this far to leave you without enthusiasm for some new creative potential, without some symbol of hope for a better tomorrow, well, you would be incorrect.
Noah built the ark out of gopher wood. The flood it came and the ark it stood. And no larks are moving and moving and moving. And no larks are moving and moving along. Who built the ark? Oh Noah, Noah. Now who built the ark? Oh Noah, my Lord. No larks are moving and moving and moving. No larks are moving and moving along. March the animals 2 by 2, the hippopotamus and the kangaroo. No larks are moving and moving and moving. No larks are moving and moving along. Who built the ark? Oh Noah, Noah. Now who built the ark? Oh Noah, my Lord.